Oh, dude. Whippersnapper, look at that. At least you're not calling me coach. Who was it that called me coach? I haven't seen him in a little bit. Was it you, Acer? You used to call me coach? It was you! Yeah, but same thing with Borderlands 3. They're gonna try to do the, yeah, I'm finally gonna do Tails. Tails will be the last one we do, freak. This, 2, pre-sequel, Tails. Since Tails takes place between 2 and 3. Listen, the kids are saying lit. Are you lit? Are you lit, fam dog? I'm gonna try this one more time. So if I can just main story focus, that would be good. I don't think they're gonna let us though. I think we gotta do side quests because this is not popping. It's right there. We get a reward for these. Get a shotgun. Just gonna save and quit real quick and see if it's bugged. If it's not, okay, so be it. We'll must have to do some side quests. But at least we'll know for the next playthroughs. Dabalicious meme fam. Who the fuck was it that said that? I remember that now. Dabalicious meme fam. Initializing the diagnostic. Yeah, well, my computer goes to sleep. It's been freezing. It's been weird. Couldn't identify the alright, whatever. I'm gonna dismiss this shit then. What am I missing, Claptrap? Why won't you let me use Catch a Ride? But we ran with it for a while, yeah. Was it Gold Scar Radley, who we haven't seen in the longest time? The one that disappeared. Another one lost to the fucking ether. Oh, now it does work. Alright. It was bugged. Could be the first time I've ever really just like focused main story with Borderlands. I usually get lost in the side quest pretty good. Which means I'm gonna have one messy ass log and he's gonna be bugging the shit out of us. Greetings, traveler! Are you aware there's a new mission available at the T-Bone Junction bounty board? Greetings, traveler! There's new missions available for you at the New Haven Bounty Board. Hello, Vault Hunter! Crazy Earl's got some more missions he'd like that chump Vault Hunter to do. Probably, yeah, probably. It was somebody like that shit. He came in, he said, fucking make me laugh or something. That time it's a module. This basically tells you how the main story quest, like how it works. There, you've done everything that there is to do in Borderlands 1. You've killed skags, you've killed bandits, maybe ran into a rack, you grabbed quests from the bounty board, you did the quest on the bounty board, you bought a shield, you bought a grenade, you looted stuff, you sold stuff, you're good. And now you know the quest flow. Kill the boss, grab the keys. The series is really good at making you want to do side quests. It's really good at making you want to do side quests. Greetings, traveler! Oh, man. Catch a ride! Apparently we get to see the end of, Scooter when we do Tales from the Borderlands too. I kind of wish I wasn't spoiled. Dishwash hurdle. Alright, we gotta go. Open the gate! Open the gate! Easy.
bitches! Let's teach them a lesson! You're going
down! Greetings, traveler! There's new missions available at the Firestone Bounty Board.
Why don't you come on back? I got something for you.
Gee, apparently Claptrap does too. There's your fucking missions, you little bastard.
You'll find a fella named Shit near the crossroads on the way to the nine. Keep the message.
We're already to fucking Sledge, almost. Just by strictly focusing main story. And Sledge is the first Volky.
Appreciate you helping him. That'll do for now.
Okay, now the only thing we need to look into, that's a liquid sniper level 40, I'll buy it. Is this Lost, I think this thing takes place in Lost Cave, right? Yeah, okay. So this has a chance in playthrough 2. I think so. Most games get it so close to that I can't be bothered. I think the only thing that Borderlands does wrong with its side quests, though it corrects this, it begins to attempt to correct it, and does in some cases, is that there's not a real good reason to do them.
Sledge is a bad man who has done
Like, the Claptrap ones are good because you get a repair kit, and sometimes they'll open up a loot room. And the Borderlands 2 and the pre-sequel, they do a good job of that. Sometimes they offer unique quest rewards, which actually, in Borderlands 2, those unique quest rewards actually end up being really important. Like some of the most important guns in the game to get a build to actually work. But other than that, they're usually just like, here's some XP. Like, there's not actually a reason to go shoot the shit off the fans in this game. So once you've done it, you know, a few times, it's kind of, you're over it. I thought The Witcher was really good at doing that, of always giving you a reason to do, like, breaking wind. Like, okay, with the fans work, does that benefit us? No, it doesn't. If it opened up a new area, or, like, created some lights, which create a safe area, that'd be cool. The game starts to correct that later on. Witcher does a good job of that. Some games, Elder Scrolls does an amazing job at that, at least Oblivion, Morrowind, Skyrim. To a degree of, like, when you do a side quest that has an implication down the road. I think the Lost Cave's here, so I am gonna go do this one because I'm going to see if we can't get this SDU. This is our Discover Weekly. It's been, I'm trying to give it a chance, though. Last week's was really bad. I guess this week's better than last week's, just because at one point last week it actually just started playing an album all the way through. It was weird. What level are these? 38? Yeah, they're just about at our level. It's not terrible XP. What the fuck are the crystals? Where are the crystals? Give me the crystal. In fact, I know what that's from. Hold on, I gotta find it now. It's in my head. It's a crystal. the crystal. That's the one. Yeah, here we go. Fuck yeah. Some good stuff right here. Crystal method. Yeah, these guys are pretty good. I wish they would have had like a cave arena. I really don't like the Guardian arena. It's way too big. But it's still cool as a dungeon. Really like this area. Borderlands 1 has some really good level design, especially in the vanilla game. Old Haven, the caves. That earlier, I had a little write-up on Discord about it. So in our country's politics, Justin, typically the GOP, the grand old party, the Republicans, they're not for regulating business, and Democrats would be for regulating business. Granted, that's kind of cookie cutter, but that's just the traditional roles that they fill. And he's a senator, which means he's, you know, at the highest level of the legislative branch of government. So it's real. It's real, and it's only been talked about at the state level before, but it's an issue that both of our major political parties have now brought forward legislation on. I don't think it'll pass. I think if it did pass, it would be fought in the Supreme Court and the game industry would win. But I think that it is a major, major red flag to the industry right now. If you got a senator and a Republican, Republicans control the Senate, so if if he could get the votes, he could pass it. And because it's been bipartisan at this point, it could probably make it through the Congress. I don't know that the president would support it, but also at the same time, since it was introduced by the GOP, since he's Republican, he may sign on it. I don't think that our president's really up to date on the games, so, because he's in his 70s. Don't look for anything to change right now, but I would definitely say that there's a lot of people in suits right now feeling the heat. And this is their warning. I would say, Justin, this is their warning. I also think, though, it's too blanket. I think the issue with the loot boxes and the pay to win doesn't require a legal apparatus yet to correct it. And I think that because the consumers as a whole are correcting it themselves. You know, they'll now advertise no pay to win, no loot boxes and shit. I think that we're conquering it, but we're not conquering it when it comes to mobile gaming. Someone like yourself, Justin, who plays games often, or Wilso, or me, or anybody else in here, most likely, I would assume. We play games all the time, and we're savvy. You know, we're well informed. We become connoisseurs, you get informed, you know what's good, you know what's bad, and you don't get taken. But Sally, soccer mom, and Susie, her daughter, playing Candy Crush, unaware of a game like Bejeweled that used to be free on your computer, will pay an obscene amount of money for moves, or you get something like this real quick. I'll pull this up. Now, this was kind of like, ha 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 ha, isn't that funny? But it's where we have to begin, perhaps, to talk about a legal apparatus. So I'll put this on real quick. I like, you know, people would.
Does that ruin it when I come out
No,
super
no.
shiny, snazzy, and then it just feels right?
Like, people laugh and joke about this, but this is where it gets to be an issue.
Sitting that way.
You gotta get pretty tight
They gotta
to
be
not do
tighter.
that.
Gotta be tighter.
Cause my foot is way up high.
Yeah, Ron did too.
No, I'm gonna do it right. I'll go right.
Okay.
I can't find a good.
It hurts.
so
It's
natural.
very painful. Yeah. You have. We both have children.
We'd have kids now.
Isn't that crazy?
We're grown-up adults that wear suits and have children and the whole thing.
And what's the 6-year-old into? Is he up
My
to
sister,
some
my sister Tommy, right now his thing is martial arts.
Ooh.
He really loves Young Ninjas is the name of the class.
stuff? Yeah.
And now he literally jumps out and surprises me. I have to be on guard at all times.
We gotta get to the point of the story. I'm getting there.
Actually, it got serious, and I had to have a sit down and have a talk with him and say, you know, you can't use your powers of martial arts only when your life is in danger. You can't coming at you and attacking your testicles. Tommy on your ass.
And the
We gotta move along. I know, but this has a point.
What's Sammy into now?
Sammy's super into apps.
Here we go.
Yeah.
And I know I can feel everyone's judging me right now because yeah, I'm a bad father. He plays a lot of iPad, but that's
I don't think
only
you're the
partially
only-
true. I make up for it in other ways, but he loves this one game he just discovered. And the thing is, they get you because it's like the app is for free, but then I'm just checking my emails one day, and there's 30 emails of like receipts for this app, and it's in-app purchases where they get you. And it's this dumb game where you got like monsters and stuff, and every monster you got to buy it, and you need to buy like diamonds and jewels, and it costs 99 cents for a diamond. But of course, my boy, he doesn't know. He's just like, I'm gonna get the big sack of diamonds. It's $100 a throw. $100. This game is designed for children. It's marketed to children, and then there's a $100 thing in app. And there's 30, okay, do the math. There's like 30 receipts on my computer. So it's like, it's well over
3,000,
1,000.
yeah.
It's like 3,000 mother-loving dollars. And I have a sit down, I take Sammy, I sit him down, I say, Sammy, you gotta understand that money is real. And even though Daddy makes money in movies, if you spend $3,000 a day on apps, we were not gonna live here anymore. And I took off the, in-app purchases on the iPad, and I emailed the people, and I said, this is not responsible, and I think they're gonna give me a refund thanks to being on this show and telling them to give me a refund.
So you get the idea. You get the idea. So that's been talked about for a long time and kind of laughed and joked at. I don't think regulating AAA games is a good idea right now. I think that people like yourself that play games all the time and are savvy to it you don't need the government involved in it. You can totally control yourself and make decisions as a consumer in that. But 6-year-old Sammy, in Jack Black's case, and in many other people's case, in Jack Black's case, he might get the refund and then others might not. And there's just so much trash and shovelware and, at this point, scamware on mobile gaming. And kids play it and they don't know any better. My niece, she's only 4. She's on the tablet a lot on YouTube, and sometimes I worry what she's watching. And of course, if she downloads a game, she's not gonna have any idea what the hell a loot box is either. They just don't know. We know. So I do think that if we're going to do legislation, you got to get rid of the umbrella nature of it. You can't say all games across the board can't do pay to win. And we need to define what pay to win is, because in a way you already pay to win. You pay to play. So I think you get rid of that altogether, because that's sort of a gray territory. It's hard to define what exactly is pay to win. Sometimes it's clear as day, sometimes it's not. Fortnite I thought was pay to win. Many people didn't think it was pay to win in the early days. And so that's, that debate rages, and I don't think we completely understand it ourselves. Now, loot boxes, that's another thing. Loot boxes are gambling. I agree with that. I think that games like Bungie, where they, hired a behavioral psychologist to do their game design rather than a proper game designer is an example of that. They want to hook you just like a casino slot machine hooks you. Sometimes you're going to win. More often than not, you're not going to win, but you're always going to come close to winning all the time. So that you always think you're just one lever pull away from final sweet victory. And they've looked at the brains of gambling addicts, and they found that where like someone like you or me who's not addicted to gambling, when we see a loss, you know, 2 sevens and then a brick, we see a loss. But what a gambling addict sees is a win. And that's the fundamental nature of gambling addiction. And the courts have decided that that's conscious, that you can't sue a casino because you're addicted to gambling and, you know, they preyed on you. That you still had to do the act and it was on you. So that's where I think the game industry also has a really strong leg to stand on as far as arguing this and saying, we're not responsible. So the senator's gotta lessen the scope of it. And he's got to get it within, my opinion, he's got to get it within territory that the industry can work with him. And I think the way that you do that is you say, we're going to go to Google Play Store and we're going to go to the Apple Store. And we're going to say, we would like these companies. We're going to say, government's going to get involved unless what you need to do for on your store fronts is say that there is a minimum product that you have to meet, and you can't do this and this and this. And if you're like, you can't do nefarious pay to win stuff, which is obvious. Like you can only do so many moves in a day, or you know, you only can make it so far. And you got to get rid of your loot boxes for people who play the game who are under the age of 16. That's the big thing I would scope it into, is if you're under the age of 16, then you can't provide them with loot boxes in mobile gaming. It may be any gaming, but especially mobile, because I just don't think I just think that the average gamer, because now, you know, almost everyone's a gamer now. Oh, you're not a real gamer. You're not a seasoned gamer. There's a lot of amateur gamers who, you know, oh, what's a video game? And someone contact Facebook, I had bought a loot box. That have no fucking clue. They've got no clue. And those same people are people who probably also don't necessarily know how to email the company and say, hey, I need my 3K back. Even Jack Black there, he's like, what, 50 years old? You know, he's like, it's an app. It's an app. People like us are honestly at the forefront of this, and I wish the stereotype wasn't of us as school shooters and basement dwellers, because we need to be a part of the conversation. It won't pass. He's trying to make a name for himself, but it's very real. If you have a senator, there's only 50 senators. Or 60, sorry, 60 senators. Now, what the fuck am I saying? There's 100 senators. I'm a dumbass. There's 100 senators. It's 2 per state. Fuck me. That was dumb. But normally, we pass bills in 2 ways. That's why I said 60 and 50. You either get a simple majority, or you get a supermajority. Supermajority is 60, and you can actually full-on make big ass. You can do total tax reform. Not just bills. You can literally start to work at the most fundamental levels of government on those supermajorities. The big stuff. I don't think he'll get the votes. Not yet. But it won't take many more stories of, oh, my 6-year-old son racked up $10,000 in bills, or these games are scamming us. From people, honestly, we're a part of like making it a movement too, though, because we're kind of like the equivalent of the middle class in gamers. We play games, we spend a lot of money in games, and we understand games. And so we're the ones who are like, when Battlefront 2 was being a shithead, we're like, we're gonna not do this anymore. And that made enough waves that's when you had that first big round of like, the Belgium government got involved, and the congressman from Hawaii got involved, and yeah. As like you said, it's made to attract kids, right? And the kids don't understand it. Like Sammy in Jack Black's case, Sammy doesn't know that that's real money. He just thinks, oh, it's jewels. They have no idea. They can't get us. They try, but we understand it. We're able to make the distinction, and that's why I don't think the government has to be involved there. I think the government has to be involved as much as it's involved in, say, cigarettes. At least in the U.S. case of like, if you're under 16, you can't play games with loot boxes, and maybe even 14. I don't think it has to be that high, but it needs to be high enough that you know for a fact that a kid would understand it. And they need to try to work with Google Play and the Apple Store to say, we don't have to get involved in this, and that would be great for everybody. It'd be good for us because we don't have to create the bureaucracy and the formal, because it's going to complicate everything if the government gets involved. And say, this is your last big fucking warning. It's getting real now. You need to self-govern. Apple Store and Google Play, get rid of the shovelware. Get rid of the shit. Get rid of the pay-to-win games. Get rid of the malicious prey on children games. Clean your storefronts up. Because ultimately it's just those two. Yeah, you can get games elsewhere, but you're gonna make your money off of those two. Everyone who is making big money in this industry is gonna need to be involved and has skin in the game. I agree with you, Justin, right? Like, the whole COD thing is BS. It is BS. The games like that have loot boxes and nickel and dime you, and they're still full price games. But I think that we're at a point still, Justin, where market forces, sort of, basically like you're saying, market forces will dictate a change. Like they did with Star Wars Battlefront. Like they have in Anthem's case. Anthem could have gone full on hard pay to win. But Battlefield seems to have corrected EA of the syndrome. Call of Duty having the loot boxes it did in World War II and now Black Ops 4, and I hope that gets corrected. But the thing about those games is 14-year-olds do play them. That's where we get into really tough territory. I don't think the markets... People just don't buy COD anymore because in the way that they used to. Yes, they still sell the shit out of COD. Because it became a meme. It was, you know, oh god, here we go, it's the same old shit. And it keeps getting worse and worse and worse all the time. And not because of the loot boxes. They have yet to really be punished for the loot boxes. And why they put them in there. No COD, except for these modern CODs, has had loot boxes. Go and play Modern Warfare 1 or 2 or World at War, or especially the classic CODs. There's none of that horse shit in there. Now you need that horse shit? I mean, it's just... I don't see that changing. They're in the most gray area, though, because they still sell well. They're still played by kids. And the consumers haven't said, we're done with it. The one thing that's for sure, outside any of my conjecture and opinion on the matter, is the shit is truly, I've said it a bunch, but it's true. It's gotten real. If you get a U.S. senator, and especially of the GOP, to say, we're getting involved, you done fucked up. You done fucked up. It's at the highest levels now. You're talking the federal government, a senator. And the Republicans control the Senate right now. They've got the majority. They've got a simple majority, but still they've got a majority. So... it's possible to pass it. It is totally possible to pass that bill. I don't think it will, no. Because I think that the writing's on the wall that it would go to the courts and it would lose in the courts. But you could pass that bill, it would go to the Congress. Because it was sponsored by a Republican, there's a good chance the president would sign it. It would then go to the Supreme Court, where I think that it would be shot down because the game industry would fight it. But it could go all the way to the Supreme Court. It has that potential, whether it gets there or not, whether people are willing to engage it that long. There's not a whole lot of press around it right now. There was a lot of press around the time of Battlefront. And so that was a good time to introduce bills and try to control the narrative and say, look, I did a lot for my constituents and I've been an effective you know, member of the government, I should get reelected. I helped my constituents by, you know, fighting the loot boxes. So Sammy doesn't rack up $3,000 in non-refundable microtransactions anymore. There's not a whole lot of that going on. So it's not a super great time to introduce the bill. I don't think. It's got a good name because they say it's all about children. And if it is all about children, then it needs to not be a blanket thing. It needs to be games. Here's to me, Justin, the simplest possible way to legislate it when it comes to AAA games. If your game has loot boxes, remember how they talked about the ESRB, which is literally just the game companies. They're self-governing. They formed a board when the game industry has been through much worse around Columbine and shit. You know, like it was so much worse, and that's why the ESRB formed. They said, well don't worry, we'll self-govern. We're gonna start putting ratings on our games. Two ways. You either do it like they were talking about last year, and you put like, you have to put on the label that the game includes loot boxes. That's a simple way. Or a way that carries a little more clause is that if your game has loot boxes, it's automatically rated M for mature. You sell less games. You sell the vast majority of your games in the T for teen ESRB rating. So when you go mature, you know, you're hurting your market share. Less, you can't have a 16-year-old kid just walk into Walmart and buy it. So I think a good way to not make this so heavy and weighty and actually enforceable is you have a new simple rule. ESRB talks to the government, says, "Don't worry, we're gonna fix this. We're gonna write this. We know it. We know it's not good. We know people are pissed. We're gonna fix it." And say, from now on, if your game has loot boxes or anything that could be even remotely interpreted as a pay-to-win mechanic, it's immature. That would be my solution right now. It has claws. The government doesn't have to be involved. We can keep them out of this for now. And it's simple. It has clause as in a publisher is going to see it on their bottom line. Borderlands 2 is rated T for teen to try to reach as many people as possible. And many others. Like, I think Halo ended up going down for T for teen. Okay, it's TMP that's the best machine pistol. These things have had some serious health. Those guys ate the shit out of some ammo. Anyways, I mean, thank you, Justin, for asking me that question. I appreciate it. You allowed me to expel my opinion on the matter, and that's my opinion on the matter. Shit's hitting the fan. It's real. You're at the federal government. You're in the legislative branch. It's a senator. Republicans control the Senate. It's got a chance. It's a bipartisan issue at this point. I think it'll lose in the Supreme Court. I think the industry will take notice, and I think the best thing for the industry to do right now is have the ESRB have a meeting, and be willing to talk to that senator and talking to anybody else who wants to provide legislation to it, and have an honest-to-God conversation and say, we are going to do something about this. If they put loot boxes in the game, you got one of two options. You either, it's on the label, like it requires online connection, that's on the label, or automatically your game is immature. Those are the two. One of the two. I don't think you need necessarily... You could do both, actually. You could do both. The way that China did it... I'm going to save and quit because I'm going to try to do that thing where we get the SDU. Is China made it where you had to provide the rates. Because they were on it. That was like 2 years ago or a year ago that they already did their legislation and said, okay, loot boxes are shit. So the way this is going to work is you got to tell the person the percentage chance of them winning. Theirs wasn't even that big. Like right now, what that senator introduced is more robust than that. I think that a bunch of game companies see writing on the wall. If you go and play Fortnite now, the way that they change their llamas is totally different. You can now see what's in the pinatas before you open them.
If you need healing, stay
Now, does that mean Fortnite was savvy? It's possible because it's Epic. Epic might be savvy to the fact that there was a ball that was put in motion last year that they can't stop at this point. There's no stopping it. Basically, even though there's not been proper legislation written yet, once the industry messed up to the point where the government said, my constituents are saying there's a problem, and they've been saying there's a problem for a while, so we're gonna get involved. Like, there was no shutting the door. I figured the door maybe didn't get shut until after there was actually legislation, but it's totally possible that the door's been opened and that's it. There's no coming back now. Far as where we were, which was a completely unregulated industry, which is, to me, preferable. Okay, so we're gonna have to fight through this thing every time. Did we get the crystals, by the way? Might as well go ahead and get the crystals done while we're here. Yeah, we did, okay. Alright, so what we do is we turn it in, but we have to look at the reward. So we, like, go, we talk to them, we look at the thing, and if it's not what we want, we dashboard. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. See, I don't actually see the reward, though, is the fucking issue. So, like, I don't know how we dashboard. See, in Borderlands, what they do is it's super easy to dashboard it because you get to see the reward in the screen, and then you say, oh, okay, accept. And then if you dashboard before you hit that A button, then you can just check it again. And it's showing us one thing, but we would probably have to do some really, really weird shit. To the point where I think I'm gonna have to look this up. I'll go ahead and mark this a break. How to farm rewards, multiple rewards. I need Borderlands 1 though. Maybe this will give us something. Borderlands Remastered STU locations and how to max inventory. Alright, let's see what this guy's got for us.
Super, here with another Borderlands Remastered video. In this video, I'll be showing you the locations of all the STUs and how to get all the STUs between playthrough 1 and playthrough 2.
So we don't need playthrough 1, we just need playthrough 2. He doesn't talk.
Over. For the first 5 claptraps in playthrough 2, you have a chance at a bonus STU. This is key to maxing your inventory. You need to get every one of these bonus STUs to get your max inventory. The chance of receiving the bonus STU is increased when you have a full inventory. So for the first 5 claptraps, and also the DLC claptraps, you should go and do these missions with a full inventory.
It's increased when you have a full inventory.
Don't get the STU, and
Interesting.
get a grenade mod on console dashboard and quit the game. For PC, you can just set your save to read.
Okay, in case you don't get the STU and get a grenade mod on console dashboard and quit the game without saving, but doesn't the game automatically save? Doesn't the game automatically save once you complete a quest? Guess we're about to find out. Oh no, you actually do get to see the quest reward. Okay, so then